This is a good exercise for reducing tension at the beginning of a practice session. Many teachers are concerned when they see excessive tension in their students, but are not sure how to address the problem. Admonishing the student to just relax often causes students to tense up more, and also to collapse in their joints. Instead of relaxing, we are going to find the mid-range of our joints. Or, as it is said in yoga, we are going to maximize the space between the bones. I'm first just going to bring my arm and hand up to the keyboard and gently rest on the keyboard. And I'm going to start with my elbow joint. This presupposes that the torso is well aligned, that the head is aligned, the shoulders are aligned, and that the student is sitting at a good height at the piano and a good distance from the piano. So I'm just going to work on the arms and the hands. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm gently going to bring the elbow towards my body a little, and then back to neutral, and then away from my body and back to neutral. And what I'm trying to feel is, when do I start feeling excessive tension? There will be always some tension in the arm because we have to use our muscles to keep our arm up. The only way it's completely without tension is if it is hanging at the side. But we shouldn't feel anything. And I think this is part of the problem students have, is they expect and want to feel something, and when we feel something, we're doing too much effort. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it very slowly, and then come back to neutral, and then back to neutral. And I want to take time between each repetition, and I want to do it slowly and gently. This is not like exercise where you're doing heavy reps trying to work up your muscles at all. This is about building awareness in the body. I'm going to move to my wrist joint. The wrist joint is interesting. It has a lot of flexibility up and down before we start getting into extreme ranges of motion. So I'm going to go up first, and it's about there when I start feeling some work in my wrist. And then I'm going to go down. It's not quite as far for me, but it will vary depending on the person. Some people are naturally more flexible than others in various joints. I'll do that again very slowly. I just want to feel where I'm feeling any excess work. And then come back to neutral where I have the sensation of no sensation. I'm going to make up my way up to fingers 2, 3, 4, and 5. And first I'm going to do extension. I'm just going to extend my fingers a little bit. At this point, I already feel work in the middle knuckles, so I'm going to bring that back to neutral. And then I'm going to curl the fingers a little bit. I again feel some work in the middle knuckles, so I'm just going to let them come back to neutral. Now I'm going to do opening and closing these fingers. One habit students have is they try to cover one finger per note, and this already causes a lot of tension in the fingers. So we're trying to find, where is it most comfortable? In this case, if I open to here, I'm already feeling work in the joints. And if I squeeze the fingers, I'm feeling work. So I'm just going to find where it's comfortable, where it's neutral. Same thing goes for the thumb. The thumb should act as an extension of the forearm. If I pull back the joints, I will feel work in them. If I hyperextend and try to reach it, it just should feel long and easy. Now, speaking of knuckles, when people come to rest on the keys, the knuckles will often fall down and collapse. We need enough muscle tone so that the second finger and third finger seem prominent. However, if we go too far, we will be tenting, and this is, again, too much work. We need to find where it's comfortable, but it will often involve more tone in the knuckles than students expect. You'll notice my second and third knuckle are a little more prominent, and there's a gentle sloping of my fourth and fifth knuckle, but they're not collapsed down. Now at this point, I just want to check that I'm rested in all my joints, and in fact, I just released a little in my shoulder joint because I was feeling that I was holding up a little bit. I want to see that I'm rested down in my elbow, in my wrist. I'm not collapsed. I'm just feeling rested, and in my fingers.